thank you for giving me some of your time.
Our pleasure.
I'm with the guys from Hacksaw Gentleman's Advocate, one of the most interesting band names I've ever heard in my life.
It gets mentioned a lot.
Yeah, I mean, we'll come to that in a minute. I have been listening to you guys for about like 2 years. And Mark suggested I listen to you, and I then found out about your background, because you have a similar background, which is quite weird. But last night, guys, I swear to God, it's one of the best moments in my whole musical life.
Oh, thank you very much.
I thought it was off the scale. You're crazy mad, the pair of you, throwing shapes.
I do throw a few.
You do throw shapes.
Yes.
But lyrically, musically, I thought it was absolutely fantastic, and I'm so chuffed you could give me 5 minutes to talk to me, guys.
Absolute pleasure.
Yeah. Why are you here? Why do you come to this gig?
Well,
Is this how
we've been
We've done it before.
We've done it before,
Yeah.
and every time we've been here, we've always had a great time, and we also get the joy of seeing some wonderful
lads.
colleagues performing.
we're amongst our peers and our friends, and
So we have a really nice time.
Yeah.
So that's obviously a big plus.
Yes.
But also the charity for me, the brain cancer charity is also an important factor. I have a background of I used to be a brain cancer doctor, and so brain cancer is a topic that has resonates emotionally, and I'm delighted that we're able to contribute to something that's helping raise funds to try and do something to help fight an awful disease.
Yeah, well, that's a lovely response. Thank you very much for that. I mean, I have the same feeling about it from a different angle, because I'm a Rush fan.
Right, yeah.
And when Neil died, I was devastated. And he was the soundtrack to my. It sounds really corny, doesn't it? But he was literally the soundtrack to my life. Because one of my first gigs was Rush in 1981, and then did the 82 and did the Signals tour.
Wow.
And I was only a bambino, but it was a weird gig, because it was in a cowshed in Edinburgh, and it was Rush, and you couldn't have played anywhere. And Neil, I fell in love with Neil when it's so sad. So I share your sentiment, as well as I think losing Neil was terrible for everybody. Anybody, never mind Prog fans.
Yeah.
And I still think there's a book in his PC somewhere that we've not been allowed to read yet, because he documented everything.
Yeah, right. Well, he was a kind of like
It's like Frank Zappa, every So, right. With that aside, give me that story about the name, please. I need to know about the name.
Don't matter.
I accept that it's silly and practical and doesn't necessarily fit how we sound, because although we don't take ourselves very seriously, when we play live, I think it's very playful.
Yeah.
Yes.
But the music isn't comedy music, so that maybe it doesn't really fit them. But there are several different things that led to that being a name that I kind of felt attached to.
Yes.
So one is when Chopin did a performance that was reviewed by Schumann. He said he wrote a famous review, "Hats off, gentlemen and genius," and I just had this idea of people celebrating, throwing their hats in the air about something being average. I mean, that's right.
It's adequate.
And I suppose adequate, it's such a kind of English,
It's
kind of word.
really self-deprecating.
And also, when I was working in the NHS, most workplaces, you would have these mission statements, and always be about, we are
striving
to be,
a
world centre of excellence,
world
class this and that, and sometimes the conditions for people working in it are not ideal, and I used to sometimes joke in different environments that perhaps we should aspire to be a centre of adequacy. This wasn't in terms of how the patients were treated, but I think in terms of for when we were working, actually with the staff, the conditions for
I've always said as well that the name doesn't actually lend itself to a particular musical genre,
No, that's true.
so you're not quite sure what you're gonna hear when you hear that name. So it's not as if we called hammer fist or something.
Yeah.
And you're going to go like, yeah. So if you hear the name Hatter Treatment Paper, it's like, what's that saying?
Right.
So it gives us quite an open,
nice,
space to be who we are.
But I could understand if some people looked at it and thought, oh, this is going to be whimsical comedy stuff. And didn't listen to it because that, and that very much isn't our.
And thankfully now I think it's just a brand name. It's just
people that
they
actual words are just a label.
Weirdly, it kind of reminded me of sort of. I went to university in Edinburgh, so I went to Edinburgh Festival for 20 years, and it kind of made me think of an Edinburgh Festival act.
Like a fringe act.
It did. Yeah. Oh, and then I listened to you, of course, and then, of course, that's the next question. You write about the most fascinating topics.
Oh, thank you.
How does that happen?
I listen to lots of audiobooks.
Right.
As one aspect, and whenever I'm listening or reading or watching news, there's always part of my mind just noting little phrases or stories and that feel to me like they warrant a song.
Right.
So I mean the themes, there are certain themes that we tend to regularly come back. So there's the dangers of dehumanizing other groups, splitting people into us and them. That's the current theme, and that also feeds. That was also influenced by a family background with a grandparent who was a refugee in Holocaust and was in hiding. And
there's a sci-fi
there's sci-fi elements, and again, I mean, sometimes people they engage with like the surface level of science fiction thing. Well, it's people dressing up as robots and whatever. But usually, what sci-fi is telling us something about. You read a science fiction thing, and it tells you what the people thought at the time about the future. It's how the future used to be in different eras, and it's a way of exploring difficult subjects, often, but in a sort of safe space where there's a distance because it's in a different galaxy, in the far future. So you've got a kind of a safety of it not being your current real world to be able to explore difficult topics. So there's science fiction,
and you have a big sort of historical stuff.
So
interest as well, don't you?
The Second World War stuff, I suppose it's relating again to the dehumanizing of others, the risks of that, and also just the thing of people who, if they weren't tested by horrific circumstances, you would never know that they were people who could become these extraordinary heroes. But then, and then might be just ignored and written off as, just considered ordinary. I hate the phrase when people are ordinary.
It's not
people.
a nice lot.
I think everyone has a story.
I think
everyone's got a story.
There are people who may or may not have had then extraordinary situations in which then something that you wouldn't otherwise know about can be revealed. So sometimes these stories where we don't want everything just to be exclusively grim in what we do. So it's often about very unpleasant circumstances.
But there's always hope, and there's
somebody who's then actually stood up in that situation. He said, that's not okay. I'm going to stand up against that. And you wouldn't necessarily have predicted that would be the person who did that. So say, for example, we had a song called The Galloway Boys. And that was inspired by a book by a politician. We tend not in our music to get into specific party politics, although often politics in a broader sense. But I think it would be fair to say that my sympathies wouldn't typically be seen as to Tory MPs, but this was a really interesting, true historical story of a group of gay and bisexual Tory MPs who were aware of what it's going to become later on, Holocaust, the rise of the Nazis, because they used to regularly go to places in Germany,
Weimar Germany,
so they saw then people starting to disappear from their social circle, and the government at the time at home didn't want that. They didn't want to accept, didn't want to face up to what was coming. So they were under a lot of political pressure and blackmail, basically, to shut up, and they risked their political futures by speaking out. No, this was in an era where they couldn't be public about their sexuality. And then many of those also then actually died fighting as volunteers. One, I know there's obviously conscription, but MPs, Tory MPs, presumably be in the position that they could have avoided the front lines. Yeah. But they did risk, and in some cases gave their lives. And I quite like that thing where, when I say like that, I like when my assumptions are challenged, and so it's not a group of people, Tory MPs, that I would naturally gravitate to as sympathetic characters for stories. But here, these were people in extraordinary times. They witnessed something awful, and they decided to take a stand.
We do raise a lot of questions in this.
Yeah,
we try to sort of ask people, have you thought about this? What do you?
Yeah, and acknowledging there are shades of grey, and
rather than saying this is right, this is wrong, this is what you should believe. We're more on the bent of kind of, have you thought about this, or have you kind of like gone down this avenue?
Right, okay. It's almost like little social experiments, social physics,
Well, and even the end of the current album ends is the final phrase is, "I might be wrong."
One of the greatest pieces in human history.
I do think it's very under what people don't think it enough.
So how then? Lovely, thank you. That was lovely. You remind me of Ursula Le Guin.
Oh right.
Yeah, because she did the same thing in the 60s and 70s. She wrote science fiction books, very much about on the surface. Very, obvious. But
when you go on the and you dig down a little bit deeper. Yeah.
How then the juxtaposition of that with how you are on stage, because that was mad last night.
Yeah, we were having fun.
It was wonderful, and again, I know there's other bands have done it, but there's the seriousness of the lyric and the content. But the absolute joy of the live performance. It's really obvious.
Yeah, we've been playing together since we were like 11 years old.
Oh really?
We are literally old school friends, first school band, all that sort.
So we kind of know what the other person is going to do.
We have a empathetic, sympathetic way of performing.
And I think it means we feel we can take risks. The other person's got your back, and you can.
And I know Malcolm would say this as well, but for me, performing is literally getting it all out on stage. It's a release. It's a release.
Oh yeah.
So it's my Superman. I go into my little phone booth. As Mark, and I spin around my phone booth, and I come back and put a bass on, and then I'm Mark on stage. Doing the high jumps and all the rest of it. And then I come off.
I have to ask you then, what's your cup tonight? You say that up.
What's kryptonite? Oh my god! Probably a fretless spice.
Nick Beggs walks in with a fretless bass.
I've got a stick. I do play stick.
Don't expect me to play this. I suppose that would be interpersonal conflict. We're both quite.
That's true.
That is true. I don't mean with each other.
No.
We're
very in-house. Everything we do is very in-house.
We're very we're easily, very worried about,
offending,
upsetting and offending people. So we tend to then do everything ourselves, that we don't then have to ask people and then be, oh no, sorry, could you try? Or could we move that 1.5 pixels to the left? We can do that together if it was,
So all the artwork is us, all the music is us, all the production is us. It's just myself and Malcolm and
Vince and Catherine.
And Catherine as well. Catherine's wife comes in and plays flute sometimes as well.
So if unfortunately, I think you and I could talk for hours. I want to talk for hours to you, but
I think we should.
today, but I have to ask this question because I want to know this. What's next? You guys,
we're working on lots of songs.
Oh yeah. You mentioned to me last night. Chatting.
Yeah. Malcolm's hit a purple patch at the moment. So we just released this last album, The Uncertainty Principle, which has been going great guns.
Fabulous album.
It's been going great guns.
Fabulous album.
And it's got a lot of fantastic press and a lot of the really great reviews, and people have really latched onto it. This has been,
totally think you deserve that.
And thank you for everyone who's been doing that for us. But that's now past.
Okay.
And Malcolm's been sending me lots of songs, some of which are new songs, and some of which are reinvestigating things in our locker that we have, that are ideas that we can develop from previous albums that we haven't quite.
So say for example with the last album, it had a very, very specific thing of it, so it follows a strict chronological timeline through the history of quantum physics. And so there are lots of,
as we do.
But while writing that, you might get an idea for another song, and unless it really strictly fits into that, you can't. We didn't really feel we could shoehorn it in. Even we liked the track. So we've got various things that
we are fans of the album as well. We really do like the idea of an album.
As
a 2 sides or 4 sides.
It's a substantial length with
it's a body of work that has songs in it
and a shape
to it,
and a journey.
And if songs don't sometimes fit into that particular shape,
then
put them somewhere
and it's been in my
future use.
So we've got lots and lots of songs. So we don't have a clear plan with the current album of exactly what it's going to be, but we've got
all about
we've got lots of
songs sitting there.
Then working out which ones go together for this particular album.
Well, we like that light and shade of kind of fast, slow vocal songs, instrumental songs as well. And we try and maybe do
a bit of a break. So
So you get that again, the ebb and flow thing.
Like and in a way that sense of like a cinematic thing.
I get that.
Different.
But you're the Terrence Malick for cinema. You're not the bubblegum cinema.
No, not at all. No.
Thinking about it, which is
we do actually see it as a filmic.
See, I think that is that to me is the ultimate definition of art. It's why I always thought that Peart was so good, because he thought. He didn't just throw out music. He really thought about it. And okay, some of it in the early days was ridiculous. But then
he's learned his craft. He's got to.
And lyrically, he grew from Bytorn the Snow Dog to some of the most beautiful lyrics. About diversity, about love. And it was incredible how he matured. And guys, I think what you're doing is, I think it's extraordinary. I'm a fan.
Thank you very much.
So thank you very much for giving me some time. And
our pleasure. Thank you very much for your support.
Again, guys. I'd love to unpack you sometime.
Yeah, sure. It'll be lovely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Difficult, guys. Thank you.
That's great.
That was great. Thank you very much. I do think we should top one.